From the farmers and ranchers of Farm Bureau, this is Farm Weekend. Farmers and ranchers could face higher estate taxes if Congress fails to act before the end of the year. Chad Smith has more.
The 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act contains provisions that are set to end in 2025, many of which are beneficial to farmers and ranchers. Without congressional action, the estate tax exemption will drop to pre-2017 levels. Samantha Ayub, an associate economist with the American Farm Bureau Federation, explains the state of play.
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act doubled the estate tax exemption. So it went from anyone with a net worth greater than $5.5 million in permanent statute had to pay an estate tax to during TCJA years, it was $11 million indexed for inflation. If Congress does not renew that provision, it would automatically revert to only $5.5 million indexed for inflation starting in 2026.
She says farm and ranch families are already going through a difficult time, and cutting the estate tax exemption would only make it worse.
Families are already going through a very difficult time when they lose a loved one and are passing the farm on. And so this adds an additional burden of trying to come up with up to 40% of your farm's value to pay to the IRS. Most of farm assets come from non-liquid assets, mainly land. So as land becomes more valuable, even when farms are facing losses, they're now being pushed above that exemption level due to rising land values.
Without additional changes to permanent tax law, farmers and ranchers are at risk.
If Congress continued to at least raise the exemption level, that in permanency at the very least gets away farms having to plan for the reversal back to $5.5 million. It's really that uncertainty that comes down at the end of the day.
Learn more on the market intel page at fb.org. Chad Smith, Washington.
Open position at Kansas Farm Bureau in President Newland in western Kansas. More on that when Farm Weekend returns.
With Kansas Farm Bureau health plans, you'll find affordable Medicare supplement coverage that helps cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. We encourage you to compare our rates. Contact a Farm Bureau financial services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.
Kansas Farm Bureau is seeking an accountant in its Manhattan office. This role is responsible for managing expense reporting, payroll tasks, and various financial activities for Kansas Farm Bureau and its affiliated companies. This role ensures accuracy, proper coding, and adherence to regulatory standards while providing comprehensive accounting support in daily operations. To learn more and to apply by April 30th, visit www.kfb.org/about/careers. President Newland spent time in western Kansas last week making connections and discussing current issues with industry partners and Farm Bureau members. Some of the main topics discussed were labor, water, taxes, and forage production. Next, Insight with Glenn Brunkow.
Frustrated with your current healthcare coverage? Kansans are saving up to 60% a month with Kansas Farm Bureau health plans. Choose from individual and family plans, short-term coverage, or dental and vision plans. It's quality coverage you can afford. Learn more and get a free quote by visiting kfbhealthplans.com or visiting a Farm Bureau financial services agent near you.
Now, Insight with Glenn Brunkow.
Kansas Farm Bureau is fully engaged in the process of developing policy for members' consideration. At our annual meeting in December, the Resolutions Committee has received your ideas from issue surfacing meetings, and we have started developing proposals for the full delegation to consider. The grassroots nature of our policy book is what gives Kansas Farm Bureau and the American Farm Bureau Federation their clout in Topeka and Washington. This fall, we will have 10 listing posts all across the state, and it will be your opportunity to voice your opinion on any of the proposed changes. In December, at the Kansas Farm Bureau annual meeting, we will finalize the proposed changes in our policy book, which will be our marching orders when it comes to working with legislators at the state and federal level. Will we always agree with every policy? Probably not, but it is in the book because a majority of the delegates from all 105 counties voted for it. I hope you will engage in the policy development process. Yes, the wheels are already in motion, but there is still time for each member to weigh in with their ideas. I believe in our process because we are a grassroots organization who has a seat at the table for everyone involved in agriculture.
Join us next weekend for another edition of Farm Weekend from Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture.